Hi, Des Adams with another video on the series. Today is on decision making, and I'm referring to the book How to Change Your Life by Anthony Kidman, but also from some of the online research that I've done on this topic. And I find this topic quite interesting because in many ways indecision is probably the greatest time waster of all time when it comes to decision making. The most common reason for being indecisive, I think, would be fear of failure. Virtually every study into this has found that making fast decisions is far superior to making slow ones. And I think we would really appreciate that if the government took that online and made a few more decisions a lot more quickly, particularly in Australia. So remember that inaction is often more damaging as you actually increase your chances of failure by actually not deciding. And I'm reminded of the 80-20 rule that was, I didn't realise this, I've just noticed in this book, the Pareto Principle, named after the 19th century Italian economist and sociologist Vilfredo Pareto. And he came up with the idea of the 80-20 rule, in that 80% of our results are achieved by 20% of our efforts. And a lot of people quote that 80-20 rule, particularly in business. I hear it quoted a lot. So how do we overcome indecision? And what I've found 10 key points to help with this. The first one is make fast decisions based on the known information. I mean, obviously, you shouldn't make a fast decision if it's a ridiculous decision. You need to take into account information. So, but number two is, if you need more information, be specific, recognizing you won't have all you need, and don't delay because of this. And I think this happens with a lot of people, that where they strike problems in decision making is they keep waiting for more information before they actually get started on a project. The third one is identify high value activities that will produce the most desired results. Block interruptions where possible. And that, blocking interruptions is very, very important, because a lot of people, and I know I had problems with focusing, particularly when I was younger. I had quite a few different jobs, and it was difficult to focus, because you're offered, so many different opportunities. So in regard to this value activities, you can always make small decisions and build from there to test and learn. And number 5, realise you are going to upset some people along the way. That's life, because a lot of people will object to, particularly if you're presenting an idea that, it's not in tune with what they want or what they see as being productive. Don't delay decisions because of fear of failure. That's a very, very important one. And number 7, look on a decision as an opportunity and not as a problem. And I think also there, a lot of organisations and individuals, they have problems with that. They don't see it as an opportunity, but rather as a major problem. And actually that idea was promoted by Peter Drucker, a well-known management expert and writer. And he says that people, risk is implicit in all decisions. And too many people look on a decision as a problem rather than an opportunity. The problem with doing that, looking on it as a problem, is that be careful about settling. You'll end up settling for the safest decision, as this will often give you the lowest gain in the long term. So once again, particularly with entrepreneurs, they're prepared to take calculated risks to achieve things. Number 9, don't delay a major task thinking it's too big, as this will often decrease the chance of actually getting started. And I can think of a lot of infrastructure programs, particularly in Australia, that were put off because it was, considered too big. I mean, the fast trains are, operating all around the world, and we still haven't got a fast train between our two major cities, Melbourne and Sydney. And we've had endless number of committees and, investigations to try and work out whether we need it, whether we shouldn't build it. And that's a classic example of, not being able to make a decision. Number 10 is make sure you set written plans and deadlines for a task. And also important with this is reach by agreement between the parties involved for best results. So it's useless making a plan or a decision and one of the parties is not going to fulfill it, particularly if they're part of the team that are actually operating on the project. And finally, make sure to avoid rushing from one thing to another, looking and feeling busy. Well, I think we've all been guilty of that at some time. You feel as though you're productive, but in actual fact you're just rushing around, from one chaotic situation to another. And finally, distinguish clearly what tasks are important and urgent against those that aren't. And in this book, Anthony suggests here regarding urgent and important, and he mentions, he puts them into 4 categories. What is urgent and important? Secondly, important and not urgent. Third, urgent and not important. And fourth, not important and not urgent. He actually suggests to put them in that order so that you deal with the tasks and many items that fall into category 3, which is urgent and not important, can be left off. So I hope that gives you a few valuable tips on decision making, because I know it's a problem that a lot of people have, and it's basically fear of failure. I think it basically comes down to. So following along through those 10 points I think will help. I hope it will help you, and I thank you very much for watching the video, and I look forward to bringing you more interesting topics on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye for now.